right now I'm joined by the members of ISDAL. So if we could take a second and maybe just have you all introduce yourselves, talk about what instrument you play, and then we'll get back to more specific stuff. So maybe start with you, Matt, because you're the one on screen right now.
Cool. Yeah, I do vocals. I'm free range. I don't have to deal with carrying anything. Back when shows were a thing, it was amazing. Just walking in, showing up, walking out, letting these schlups do everything else.
And how about you, Chris?
I'm a schlep in this band. I do. I play guitar and schlep.
Very
That's
cool.
my main focuses.
Do you schlep on the side as well, or is it mainly just right now with ISDAL?
I'm in the trades, so I'm a professional schlepper.
Okay. All
to
right.
some degree.
All right. I needed to get clarification on that. I'm sure it would have showed up as a question in the comments.
Yeah, good.
Eric, why don't you tell us what you do in this band?
I'm schlepper number 2, the bassist. And yeah, I just play bass.
Now, tell me how long you got. I know that your first demo came out in 2018, but back me up to when you guys kind of met as musicians and take me through the history here of your band. And I don't know who wants to go, but just you guys free range. Go on it.
Get it, Matt. If you want.
Yeah, you want me to talk about it? So me and Chris, I used to live adjacent to that beautiful background you see behind him. And he used to smoke cigarettes out front of it all the time, and we would casually chat, and we had heavy music in common. Generally just disgruntled talks about the city and other things. But at one point he mentioned he was a drummer in a bunch of bands, and he's a guitarist, and he always just wanted to be a guitarist in like a heavy metal band, like just playing heavy stuff. And I was like, well, I always wanted to just be a vocalist because I love playing guitar, but like I want that free range spirit, you know, not having to carry anything. So at that moment, we were like, well, maybe we'll do it sometime. And so when I got back into my place, I called up Eric and another guy who to see if he wanted to play drums at the time, and we just started right from there. That drummer, he left, he's moved on, he's playing some other things. And then Scotty, who is not with us today, he is our current drummer extraordinaire.
Excellent. You guys, and you may have said it and I missed it. Was it 2017 that you all met each other? I mean, that you kind of started, or was it 2018?
I don't know when that demo came out, but I think we were a band with Scotty for just under a year before that. So probably like 9 months before whenever that came out. And then we were a band for probably 6 months before that with another drummer. And
cool.
that was how all that came together.
So did you guys know pretty much right away the type of sound that you were shooting for, or did that come more as you jammed together in those early sessions and kind of felt each other out? Or, you know, did you go in with some guiding stars like, man, I fucking want to try to meld this and this? Or was it just you found out as you went what you were going to sound like?
I think Matt and I had a lot of conversations just about like the types of bands that we were into, and you know, sort of like touchstone bands that we kind of were drawn to that particular sound. So I think some of that stuff was sort of fleshed out in terms of like an intention that was expressed.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it also came like, and back me up or otherwise on this, fellas, it seems like a lot of the like overall sound of the band has kind of fleshed itself out in the ensuing time periods. Is like we sort of come to most like, I think we write a lot of songs. It's like we want a grindcore song or whatever, and sometimes they will come out that way, or sometimes I'll like fuck it up and write like a really dumb, like, beautiful, pretty part at the end of it that messes with everything. But the boys are really good at like editing my worst impulses, I think, which is maybe a strength of ours as a unit.
Absolutely. So it's pretty collaborative writing process. You may come with a riff or two, and then you work as a team to shape that into a song from there. Is that the sense I'm getting?
I mean, there's some of that. I would say that in this band specifically, Chris comes with almost a whole song, usually not just a riff. And it's pretty close to like, you know, the skeleton, and then we flesh it out together as a group. But I would say predominantly he's the lead songwriter for this band and has like the like, hey, here's a song. And then again with like the not only doing vocals part, I get to have the best part of being like, I get to hear him and all the music I listen to all the time and just be like, oh, hey, actually don't do that, because like that shouldn't be in our songs. That's too soft. Come on, we're supposed to be a heavy band here. And so I try and keep him on that straight and narrow, just like keeping it heavy and keeping it fast. Like, come on, faster. Come on, what is that? What are you doing? This isn't your other pop punk band. That we're trying to be heavy. And that was kind of the
and shorter songs.
Yeah, and shorter. I'm always trying to cut stuff down for him to make sure we stay at a shorter time length on the songs in general. But
now, Celestial is actually a little bit different, though, right? That's a bit on the longer side, or am I opening up a can of worms here a little too early?
No, you're right. You're right. That one's outside, which is why it was released as a single.
Yeah.
Because we were
hell of a tune, by the way. Hell of a fucking song.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris wrote that one, and it was a beautiful part, and we were like, you know, we all like pretty stuff too, so we're not going to fully throw it out, but finding out where it fit into things was the key there. And then the other part is like, you know, we played a lot of live shows, and that was one where it was like, I don't think this one quite fits in with the mood, because our whole goal is like, we're given a 30-minute time slot. We want to bust through our songs and be off the stage in 20 minutes, just like in and out and done, just like full assault.
Absolutely. Now going to the live setting is a good segue here, because I've had an opportunity to see you guys a few times. And simply put, you just fucking get into the shows as a band. Matt, you're falling down, you're on your knees screaming. Eric, you're into it. Everyone is into it. So talk to me just about the philosophy behind a live show, because you guys are bringing more than the music. You're trying to do something and with the crowd and pull them into a certain space. So I'd be interested if someone would talk about that for a bit.
I'll take that one, Eric.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, I think it's just like the energy. We always want to just bring that energy of, you know, like just heavy music, just that camaraderie, just that short time of like, you know, just forget about everything and just have fun with the music, and just kind of like lose yourself in that moment, you know, and just kind of just have fun. Like, I mean, I think I've had a couple shows where I've broken my glasses completely. Like, oh yeah, I was wearing glasses, but I had they've flown off my face or something like that, you know. But it's just kind of bringing that, you know, just have fun for that 20-30 minute time frame, I guess.
You can bang your fucking head, dude. I have some shots of you just, I'm like, Eric's head and neck must hurt the next fucking day. That's crazy.
I don't think I have a neck.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So talk to me a little bit about the split. You did a split release that was really just recently released. It was April 2020 that it was released. You guys, the timing for that release, fucking great, right? Jesus Christ.
Doesn't that seem like it was 6 months ago? Like, to me, that seems like it was so long ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I go back, sometimes I'll go back and I'll just, like I'll have memories pop up in a fucking social media app, and it'll be a picture from a show. And it can be a real recent show. And it seems like it was forever ago. The last time that I saw a show at the substation seems like a year and a half ago, and it was just several months ago. So the split, you did this with another Seattle band, Blightmaker. You have 2 songs on that, Blood in Numbers and Just a Corpse. So talk to me a little bit about what went into that split and a little bit about those 2 songs.
Yeah, so we wanted to get some stuff recorded and done, and actually a guy reached out to us, Joel Maddox, and was like, hey, I saw you guys or found you guys online. I don't remember. And he was like, I want to record you guys for free, just a couple songs, because I like your style of music and I want to increase my like demo to get other bands that are playing in your genre to come record with me. And so we agreed to do it. And it was basically, we chose our 2 oldest songs, Blood and Numbers and Just a Corpse, to record with him. And then it was like, okay, well, we're doing 2 songs with him. We don't have the stuff for a full album or want to go down that road at that time. And then we played a show with Blightmaker, instantly became friends with all those boys, and was just like, hey, we should do a split together, all this talk of doing random stuff together. And so I was like, all right, well, now we have 2 songs. Soon, you guys get a couple songs recorded. Let's make it a split. Let's do this thing. And so they recorded with Derek Morey, and we put it together. And then I reached out and I got, Alan Duchesne from West Side Music to master the whole thing so it sounded more cohesive together. And then I did all the art, and the whole goal was like, hey, if we got like a CD, right, like, and you're selling it at your merch booth and we're selling it at our merch booth, why don't we just have 2 front covers? So no matter what side, you guys just flip it over and it looks like a Blightmaker CD. You flip it to the other side, it looks like an ISDAL CD from the packaging standpoint, right? So did all that stuff, booked a killer release show, which then we pushed back because of COVID stuff started happening, and then eventually it just got canceled. But still stoked that one day that show will happen with the same lineup.
Absolutely.
And I can use the flyer I made still too.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, let's circle back for a second to Celestial as well. That's the most recent release. It is a bit different than some of the other songs that you've put out before, and a bit different than some of the material that you play live. So just talk to me about the decision to put that one out. You've already touched on it a little bit, but also the process of, I mean, you essentially put that together during this strange time right now, right? Am I?
Yeah, so we'll do 2 parts on that. Chris was the one who actually decided that we should put that out during this time, so I'll let him cover whatever was going on that, and then I can talk about the production stuff.
Okay. The song itself was just like an idea. There's like what's called a behind the nut bend. That's just like the way that the sound like happens, and I just like was messing with that. And I like bands like ISIS a lot.
Yeah.
I come from like singer-songwriter stuff, so like more like quiet stuff in addition to the like, botchy, screechy stuff is just what I like. And I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so like the loud, quiet dynamic thing is like the language of our music or whatever.
Absolutely.
So, that's kind of like the song came together almost like a Pixie song, I think in some respects. But it all, like, I think it also, we had demoed it to some degree, and Matt will get into sort of how that came together. But I think like this song had like kind of a mournful quality to it, but I think it also, just sonically had like bits of like clear rage or like, noisy despondence or whatever. And it kind of, especially in the early days of COVID, I think it kind of felt like that to me anyways, not, at the risk of being self-serving. Like it's semi felt timely maybe in a way that some of our more frantic sounding songs don't sound.
Yeah.
So that, Matt and I were sort of talking about like kind of what to do as a band. Just, obviously shows had sort of like we're done with for the foreseeable future, and we had hoped to tour on the split with these boys and do some other stuff. And I think when we were sort of talking about like how we would want to do something, it felt like, if there was a way to put out music like as a band, like that's kind of the thing that we would have liked to have done. And since we had some demos that were workable and maybe could add to that sort of, I think, was the impetus for trying to do something.
Very cool.
Yeah, so
Pick it up from there, yeah.
So on the production side of it, just real quick, like now that Chris has said all that, it brings me back to where that song sat. But we're sitting on a full-length album that we're waiting to record. Basically, we just need to get together. And so the plan was to actually go on a tour with Blightmaker, do a bunch of stops and a whole lot more hype around that split, and then get back, record a full-length, release that before the end of the year, as well as like a follow-up to the split. And we didn't really actually have plans for what we were going to do with Celestial yet. It didn't fit into what we were going to call that album, which is still forthcoming. And then when Chris was like, hey, then we got some demo tracks of that kicking around because we have recorded a bunch of stuff in our practice space. And I was like, yeah, let me see if I can find them and what it looks like. I was able to dig those up. And they sounded pretty good. So I was then able to mix those till they sounded like what you hear. And the only other thing is that Chris wanted to do some overdubbed guitar tracks to just kind of fill it up. So we have a super old recording rig in the practice space. And so I walked him through over the phone, basically how to set that up and record it, put it on a flash drive, and then basically put it up on the internet for me to pull down from my house to then mix into the rest of the track and everything else. So I'll credit Matt on that shit too. Like I'm a total Luddite. Like I don't understand any of this, and he is a wise and patient fella as far as like I had like 20 seconds of overdubs to do or whatever, and I'm certain that it took a hell of a lot longer for Matt to just teach me how to like use a fucking computer. So thanks. Absolutely, he's fucking dedicated. Matt wanted to get that in there. Yeah. Oh, and then I recorded all the vocals, which I didn't even have fully written for that song because it was hanging out at my house in my closet, just belting it out in there. So I've got to, given that you finished the lyrics during the bizarre fucking time that we live in right now, did you find that crept in to a certain extent to the way you finished the material lyrically? Because I know already Chris is talking about how there was kind of a vibe there musically with what was going on. Did you find the lyrics went there or no? Yeah, so I had like 50% of the lyrics already written, and then actually what became the majority of the lyrics and everything is I had to make a quick run down to our practice space to like pick up the tracks, and I didn't know how everything was going to shake out or how long we were all going to be in quarantine and stuff like that at the time. So I did one quick like freestyle track over it just to get an idea to work with, to figure out how that was all going to come together. And so those were the basis of like basically all the lyrics from there. I would say in terms of like mood and feeling, like yeah, I mean the lyrics oddly enough already fit with basically everything going on, so that was just that was an easy dunk in that regard, to the fact that all of our lyrics are about problems with the system, interpersonal issues and other things that just kind of fall in line so smoothly to all that's heightened now and we're all hyper aware of it, but like that's already the stuff we've been saying. Beautiful. Excellent. So as a way to kind of bring this to a conclusion, what I usually do is I ask two questions, just kind of what's the future looking like right now for you guys as a band? Realizing that the landscape is uncertain, I think is the kindest way to describe it right now. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you guys if you wanted to just comment on some of the political and social and economic issues that are going on right now as well. So I'll just, I don't know if you guys want to go through that one by one, but just talk about plans for the band and then just any comments that you have about what we're going through today as a society. I'll start with plans for the band because I think I'm the one kind of trying to like figure that out. But the goal is to figure out how we can be in a space together to record a full length and release that, and then just kind of put the focus more on releases other than live shows and things like that, since we don't know when exactly that all comes back around again. And we have a lot of material, like we have a full album ready to record, and then we have, in terms of unfinished songs, probably half another album already done after that. So we have a lot of material and things we want to get out. And I'm planning on recording it and doing the mixing and all that. So it's just literally about us being able to figure out a space that we can meet together in a reasonable environment that's safe. Grindcore comes down to the logistics of finding a fucking room you can be in together. It's insane. Yeah. So do you guys have any particular things you want to talk about relative to what's going on right now? And it can be globally. It can be, we have a lot of shit right here in the city that's going on. So I don't know if you guys have anything, that you want to say about that or any kind of closing words that you want to get in. Chris is our master deep politics guy, so I'm waiting on him. I'm looking at him here. Chris is the Noam Chomsky of the group. All right, go ahead, Chris. Yeah, I'm probably like less vocal than Chomsky, but maybe more angry than Chomsky. I just watched a really interesting interview with Noam Chomsky. Shock of all shocks for Seattle leftists to spend time on YouTube watching Chomsky during the fucking crisis. God forbid I bring him up in an interview too. We're so cliche. How dare you invoke his name, sir?
Fantastic. I mean, it takes all kinds. Maybe that's the takeaway. Like, I do think like the crisis has given us all like a ton of time to reflect, and it also has given us a ton of free time. So the sort of social uprisings that we're seeing right now are like wildly important and long fucking overdue. And I think making change happen, not just from a like place of self-reflection, but also from a place of like getting out and doing something and donating your time and your energy and putting your body in harm's way and God knows anything else in order to organize, in order to like try to build institutions that will promote like material benefit for the people that we talk about. Like, you know, it's one thing, for instance, to really like to believe in elevating POC. It's another thing to like make material change happen for groups who have been, you know, demonstrably disadvantaged by things like white privilege or things like capitalism or things like industrialism or some of the environmental degradation that we've got going on. You know, I think I got off social media a couple weeks ago because I was kind of just like done virtue signaling, and I not to like toot my own fucking horns, certainly not. But I do think like there's a way that we can all like get out and make something happen, and each of us has an opportunity to do that in our own way. And finding that versus finding like a space for like quiet self-reflection. I think liberals in Seattle find it pretty easy to find a space for quiet self-reflection, and that doesn't make material change happen necessarily. So while it's important, after we're done on Zoom, let's go fucking do something. Okay.
Well, there's nothing like a little agitation and taking your theory and turning it into practice to actually change the social world around you. So fucking right on as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Anybody else want to join in with what? I don't know how you top that. I mean, go after that.
I mean, it's all about sound bites, so I'll go next on that regard, you know, in the world of shortened messages type things, right? But like defund the police, abolish ICE, like those are all like super important things in my mind and stuff that needs to happen. And then along with that, you know, in Seattle, so far it looks like what the CHOP is becoming, you know, with the organized protest area and them leading marches from there and sort of having a central place to talk. Like I attended a couple talks there, and I think one of the biggest things to kind of echo what Chris was saying is that, you know, spend 25% of your time tearing down, you know, the institutions that are doing the bad thing, but spend 75% of your time building up and creating the sort of community and institutions that you need to see to replace them, right? Like, don't leave a vacancy, have the thing already going and like ready to replace it. So it's just like, and you're done. Here we are. And I think that's the coolest thing right now, is just seeing about like communities getting together and this want, right? Now that we've had the free time of people being like, I mean, like, I do care about you. Like, I don't actually care about the money, right? Like it's about being there for your community and looking out for one another, right? In a way that isn't like this weird capitalist systematic system that's going to be holding people down.
Yeah. Or just amplifying your brand identity, for fuck's sake. Like,
yeah,
let's move forward.
Yeah, this is change for the future. You know, this is the perfect time right now that I think, you know, it's kind of opening everyone's eyes of just what has been going on. And right now, there's so many important just movements going on right now. Black Lives Matter, you know, Black trans lives matter, just everything. This is for a better future, a better tomorrow for generations to come, and not just for now. It's for everyone moving forward in the future.
Yeah. I don't think there's a better way to end the interview than with what Eric just said. I think it sums up what we all at our core kind of agree on. So listen, Chris, Eric, Matt, Scotty, if you're out there, I know you are. I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to tell us a little bit more about ISDAL, to talk to us about the new single out there, Celestial, that's on Bandcamp, the split that you did with Blightmaker, which is on your Bandcamp page, and also your demo, which is out there. And we look forward to seeing where the hell you guys go down the road. And I cannot wait personally to see you again live. I fucking dig your shows. So looking forward to that, gentlemen.
Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys I'll see you on the other side of this bullshit. We'll bump into each other again. Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.